Let's take a look at the history of Palestine and its people, a story marked by deep roots, complex struggles, and enduring hope. Ancient history. The region known as Palestine has been inhabited for thousands of years. It sits at the crossroads of civilizations, connecting Africa, Asia, and Europe. The earliest known people in the region were the Canaanites, who settled in the land around 3000 BCE. This region was later home to various groups, including the Philistines, from whom the name Palestine is derived. Roman and Byzantine rule. By the time of the Roman Empire, the area became known as Judea, and after the Jewish revolts in 70 CE and 135 CE, the Romans renamed the region Palestina in an attempt to minimize Jewish ties to the land. For centuries, Palestine was under Roman and later Byzantine rule, with a diverse population that included Jews, Christians, and other groups. The Islamic caliphates. In the 7th century, the region came under Islamic control after the Arab conquests. It became part of the various Islamic caliphates, including the Umayyads and Abbasids, with Jerusalem playing a central role in Islamic history. The Dome of the Rock was built on the Temple Mount in 691 CE, and Palestine remained a cultural and religious hub for Muslims, Christians, and Jews alike. In the 11th century, the Crusades brought European Christians to the region, leading to a series of wars between Christian and Muslim forces over control of Jerusalem. By the 16th century, Palestine became part of the Ottoman Empire, where it remained for nearly 400 years. During this time, the local population continued to live in agricultural communities, with Jerusalem serving as an important religious center for all three Abrahamic faiths. After World War I and the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, Palestine came under British control as part of the League of Nations mandate in 1920. This period saw increasing tensions between the growing Jewish immigrant population, spurred by the Zionist movement, and the Arab Palestinians, who sought independence and self-rule. The 1917 Balfour Declaration, in which Britain expressed support for a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, fueled fears among Palestinian Arabs that their land and political rights were under threat. These tensions would continue to escalate over the next few decades. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a partition plan to divide Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem as an international city. Jewish leaders accepted the plan, but Arab leaders rejected it, seeing it as unjust. After Israel declared its independence in 1948, war broke out between the new state of Israel and its Arab neighbors. For Palestinians, this event is known as the Nakba, or catastrophe. Around 750,000 Palestinian Arabs were displaced, becoming refugees in neighboring countries and in territories that would later become known as the West Bank and Gaza Strip. Many Palestinian villages were destroyed, and the hope for a Palestinian state was shattered as Israel expanded its borders. The Palestinian struggle for statehood. In the years following the Nakba, Palestinians continued to seek self-determination. The Palestinian Liberation Organization, PLO, was founded in 1964 to represent the Palestinian people and their struggle for independence. Yasser Arafat emerged as a key leader, and the PLO fought for the establishment of a Palestinian state. The Six-Day War in 1967 resulted in Israel occupying the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem, territories that are still at the heart of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict today. The occupation sparked resistance movements and international calls for a two-state solution, with Palestine and Israel coexisting side by side. The Oslo Accords and continued conflict. In the 1990s, a peace process was initiated with the signing of the Oslo Accords, which aimed to create a framework for resolving the conflict. The Accords allowed for the establishment of the Palestinian Authority, granting limited self-governance in parts of the West Bank and Gaza. However, the peace process has been marred by continued violence, political disagreements, and the expansion of Israeli settlements in occupied territories. Despite numerous attempts at negotiations, a lasting peace agreement has remained elusive, and the struggle for Palestinian statehood continues. Today, millions of Palestinians live in the West Bank, Gaza, and as refugees in neighboring countries. The West Bank is under Israeli military occupation, while Gaza is controlled by Hamas, an Islamist political group. Both regions face significant challenges, including economic hardship, restrictions on movement, and ongoing conflict. The Palestinian people continue to seek international recognition and support for their right to self-determination. Many advocate for a two-state solution that would grant them an independent state alongside Israel. However, political divisions, internal struggles, and the enduring Israeli occupation have made progress toward peace difficult. The history of Palestine and its people is one of deep cultural heritage, resilience, and a long-standing struggle for self-determination. While the path to peace remains uncertain, the Palestinian people continue to hold on to hope for a future where they can live in peace and dignity.